time for Fabulous Film and Friends. Happy New Year, everyone! And as we begin another year of Fabulous Film and Friends, we're going to do something no one else is doing at this time and looking back at the films of 2023. Our third such original recap since this show's inception. My guests are series regulars Roseanne, Caputi, and Alex Robertson, the only people I know who have the patience to sit through 2023's bum crop of films. Alex, warm us up with a bit of Zack Snyder pitching Rebel Moon to a room of skeptical executives.
So I got like this idea where we scour the gens and get all these big burly guys to like sit in a rocket ship and shoot stuff. How's that sound?
I can do you one better. Here's my
I don't know why you put me on the spot.
Here's my impersonation, Alex.
Simplicity at its finest.
All right, Roseanne, now you're in the hot seat. Start us off. Give us the 5 best films of 2023 if you got them.
I think I maybe have 3 or 4, but I think there's no other way to start this besides saying, honestly, the 2 best films of this year for me were Planet of the Apes from 1968 and Harlan County, USA. So those were the movies that guided my entire year, honestly.
Well, those don't count.
I know. So number 1, I think, in any particular order, or what are we doing?
Yeah, whatever. Just
okay.
Give us the 4 films, 5 films, 3 films, whatever that you liked.
Okay. Films that I like. Number 1, Asteroid City. Number 2, I really think Showing Up. I feel like that might be it. But I think honorable mention, Past Lives is getting a lot of press right now. I did like it. And maybe the dark horse, even though I said it wasn't, and I know that it's not great, but at least it stuck in my head, was Saltburn. So those would be my 4. And honestly, I saw a lot of movies. I saw Killers of the Flower Moon. I saw a lot. But
that's not a lot. That's 5 films.
I saw every Marvel piece of crap. I saw Maestro. I saw movies, but I didn't love a lot of them. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, you're up, big guy.
Okay, so I was going over my list, and I really didn't see a whole lot. So I gotta agree with Roseanne. I think Asteroid City, interestingly enough, really took a hit from a lot of critics this year. And what I really got in Asteroid City that I love about, it's like every movie you watch from Wes Anderson is you always pick up on what I think are some of his influences. The things that he grew up with, which is what makes him so identifiable. Like Grand Budapest Hotel, he must have watched a lot of Warner Brothers cartoons because of some of the sight gags, like the cat thrown out the window and just the way it was sprawled on the pavement. Wile E. Coyote, or
that skiing scene.
The skiing scene with the legs sticking out of the legs sticking out of this. This time around, I got Mad Magazine. I got the old 50s, 60s Mad Magazine. One of the original artists, Elder. He just had, all of his, every frame had like all the little gags in the background. Mm-hmm. And I really caught that in Asteroid City because the thing that got me was the chase that you keep seeing throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like that is so odd, but that is so Mad Magazine. It's like these little non sequiturs that they don't have to mean anything. They're just symptomatic of this absurd world. And can I say it was fun to see Matt Dillon in a refreshing role. I hope Wes Anderson uses more of him because for what he had, he was very, very funny.
And everybody think about okay, remember us talking about Oppenheimer, Barbie. We saw these movies. I don't know if I know that Asteroid City is first on your list so far, but I'm just like, is Barbie or
I haven't seen Barbie. In all
Okay.
fairness, and
Okay.
Oppenheimer, I would take Asteroid City over Oppenheimer
Same.
any day.
Right.
Um, okay, Oppenheimer, with the exception of the detonation scene, which I still think is brilliant. That's it.
Mm.
Everything else, it's everything before it and after. It's sort of like ho hum. I think Gino put it best when he said Christopher Nolan's love affair with Cillian Murphy's eyes. Like, oh, do I have to see this again? But no, I wasn't blown away by Oppenheimer. No pun intended.
What
It
else
was
you
just
got?
okay. So Asteroid City, uh, uh, in a peculiar, perverse way, Saltburn. Not so much the story because it was like I've seen this before, but the performances.
And the
Um,
vibe, let's face it, I was
and
filled
the
with
vibe,
dread.
yeah. And I gotta say, this is the year of Carrie Mulligan. And I gotta
Holy
say,
cow.
for the
That
few
wins.
minutes that she comes on, she really does leave an imprint. And when she's gone, you feel her loss.
Yeah.
But even more so, what a snake Rosamund Pike's character is. Oh, she's just a dreadful person. I
I
mean,
love the fact that she's talking about someone so stylish shouldn't be such a bore.
exactly, exactly. So hats off to Rosamund Pike, Richard Grant, Barry Keogh, especially his brave little victory dance at the end of the movie,
Yeah,
where he shows in more ways than one that he has a pair of big ones.
sure.
Um, yeah, despite the story, yeah, despite some of the unsettling scenes, it's worth seeing. It is worth seeing.
I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I didn't
look,
like it.
I mean,
I
the
liked
story,
it.
the story's familiar. I get that, but
Yeah,
I think for the performances,
it's the talented Mr. Ripley all over
yeah,
again.
I'm
Well,
not
I just
arguing.
read a review obviously saying it's talented Mr. Ripley through Brideshead Revisited. And I was like, both of those are great things. I'm just like, yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
trashier, grosser version of that. Why not?
Okay,
which it
I don't care
was.
about Brideshead Revisited. I mean, it's fine. You can make another Brideshead Revisited, but in terms of talented Mr. Ripley, it covered no new ground. It covered no
No,
theme that was new. Nothing was new. It was
no,
it was just a rehash in my mind.
and it seemed like the whole ending was rather rushed. It just seemed sort
A
of
little
like,
rushed, yeah.
I mean, I really felt like up to a point, up to the death of the son, it had something going for it, but then everything just sort of like, hey, we got to tie this movie up.
Yeah.
No, it definitely had
And
And
pacing
Rosamund
and
Pike
stuff, yeah.
deserved better than that, for
she
sure.
did, she did, and we
Yeah.
did, and suddenly there she is. It's like, how
Yeah.
did she get
How did
there?
he
You know,
get-
because
yeah, what did he
she was
poison? Big
healthy.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did he?
yeah,
Yeah,
big
big deal.
And I was thinking it was going to be a war of the two. I honestly thought, oh, good. Now the two can square off.
They can
And
I
square
wish
off.
that would have made that film great because
Yeah.
Right.
she's
Yeah.
really in fighting form in
Yeah,
that movie.
no,
I
that-
think she's
Yeah.
good.
No. Yeah. It
It
just
reminded me,
really petered out in the end.
yeah, and then him winning was like, okay, this is talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's coarser. Everything was
Yes.
in your face. He's humping grave sites. He's,
Yeah.
it's just a sort of
He's
shocking.
getting
but
off in
kinda
the bathtub.
I thought
Yeah.
it's kind
I
of
did not think
stupidly
it was that
shocking.
shocking. I thought that was all fine. Everyone keeps, like hammering Emerald Fennel for that. I'm like, I don't know if she's going for that. I like the fact that she kind of confetti cannons her way through things. I do like that about her. And it's the opposite
So
of what
what's
I
the
like
difference
about
between
showing
her
up.
and what's the difference between her and any slasher filmmaker? I just think she's just.
There's
Uh,
there's not.
But see,
Except
this is
that
the only
she
thing
is
that I've
funnier.
seen from her. I don't know what else. I know she's.
Promising Young Woman, which I think was a much
See,
better film.
I never saw that though, so
Yeah.
I
I
can't
wanted to
say.
talk about Promising Young Woman on here. Talk about Carrie Mulligan. It's a really, I
Ah,
really like that movie. Anyway,
no, but
Alex,
yes.
back to you.
Oh,
Sorry.
so Salt. Let's see. Okay, so Asteroid City, Saltburn. Uh, uh, looking on my list, Creed 3. Because it was entertaining. I mean, it
jeez.
wasn't. I know, but I'm
You're-
reaching.
You're scraping, baby.
I'm scraping. I'm scraping, baby.
Well,
Oh,
where's
do you want me?
Sound of
Okay,
Freedom?
okay. You really want me to scrape? Okay, I'll scrape for you, baby. Candy Cane Lane with Eddie Murphy. There you go.
Really?
No, but it was one of the few movies I saw.
Wait, well, where's Sound
Okay,
of Freedom?
Maestro. Okay, Sound of Freedom is up there, but again, it's like I appreciated what it did. I enjoyed the movie, but it's still, I don't know. It's in its own little place. It's just
yeah, that's
it's
the problem.
between
That's the
it's
problem.
between
It's
it's
because
between mainstream Christian movies and mainstream movies. It's like
Yeah.
You're almost ready to.
I give it a pat on the head for not being a Christian movie.
Exactly. I agree.
Not, if you put it against even Clear and Present Danger, it's just one of the bunch. You know?
It is one of the bunch. It is. It is. It's like any other movie. So, and I gotta say, I was watching with more attention this time. I was watching Maestro, and I have to say that there are worthy mentions. So I will put that on the list. I don't know if I was bowled over, but there are things about the movie that I find quite redeeming. I still think it's one of the best.
Is this year's The Duel. Like, this is Gino insisting The Duel had merit or whatever, and I just, in the end,
I think it does have some. Again, watching
it does have merit.
It does have merit, but I'm just saying, I feel like I liked it too, but it didn't make the list. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I'm not offended. I'm not offended. And I think that the first 10 minutes of that movie are fantastic. I do. Yeah. I do. I mean, it's like
I think the last 10 minutes are fantastic.
I know, but I'm saying, how important those first 10 minutes are. It's like, boy, that movie just grabs my attention. I love it when it goes to black and white, and when he gets the call. And just that, and I didn't realize he's working with a guy that's worked with Darren Aronofsky. So there's a lot, there's a lot of that, the camera is just as much a part of the movie as the music.
It's a well-made film, for sure.
It is. No, there's no doubt about it. And hats off to Carey Mulligan for the scene where she confronts him at the apartment during the Macy's Day Parade. Yeah. She owns that scene. I mean, Bradley Cooper.
To Carey Mulligan for that whole performance. I love.
No. It's she has arrived. I mean,
that's where
there's any question.
It's too bad you didn't see Showing Up, because the question really is this year.
I will
Who's
see
better,
it.
Michelle Williams or Carey Mulligan? They really need to play sisters in a movie. Two close cross-haired sisters.
Look, the first when I saw the movie Drive, I thought it was Michelle Williams, because it was the first time I really noticed Carey Mulligan. It's like, wait, that's not Michelle Williams. That's some little mousy girl from Cal Arts or something, but she's a Brit. No, she is bona fide.
I told Roseanne I confused the two.
She's got the chops.
The two because they both showed up with close cropped hair. And
yep.
I thought they were.
Boy, they could pass
for a while, but now they've sort of branched off into different people. Obviously, they did from the get-go, but they, I think now I definitely know who's who. I think.
No, it's a formidable performance.
If they don't get nominated, it's just silly.
No, she should. Well,
it's silliness for both of them. But okay, that's just silly.
But then again, look at the track record of the Academy. I mean, come on.
I mean, so.
And they'll shower praise. Yes, you can. Please.
Sort of a moral compass in all this.
yeah. Show us up there, movie boy.
No, I say Asteroid City #1. I watched Maestro again, so again, with your criticisms to heart, Roseanne, I agree. They don't show Leonard Bernstein's bad side. That's true. Yeah. And the makeup, the second time around, I was completely distracted by the makeup. The first time the camera took over, the second time I was like, yeah, that makeup it's a turkey.
Are you talking about the honker?
The honker. It's just a turkey. And once I realized it's Bradley Cooper's both arrogance and insecurity, I'm not on board. It's not racist. It's stupidity. It's a guy who's like, I don't have a big schnoz. And again, no, Lady Gaga on him nose to nose, the screen goes blank. He has a honker. He should have owned it. And it's like, who are you kidding? You got a Jew nose, Cooper. He doesn't believe. Well, I don't have a big nose. Please.
Well, the thing is, I was reading. Okay, so I open good old reliable IMDb, go to the trivia section to get the background of the movie. And it was decided early on while he was in makeup, like, your nose is exactly the same as Leonard Bernstein's. But something about it didn't show up right in makeup or in lighting or something. So they decide, again, and like you're saying, no, they could have made it work. That's what the makeup department, that's what the lighting department is for. And this movie, obviously...
Prosthetics always look like crap.
Yes, they do.
It's like rule of thumb. Don't put prosthetics on actors.
Just ask
Just
Tom
don't.
Hanks. You know?
Just ask any of them. Steve Carroll. Ask any of them. They always look stupid. It always looks stupid.
Well, and the problem is, and it didn't really happen in Maestro, but in the other examples you cite, it's almost as if the prosthetics take over, and I'm watching I'm watching somebody rely on the prosthetics and giving me a one-dimensional performance.
Yeah.
I will say that Bradley Cooper does reach a little bit beyond that.
Yeah, he
does.
To his credit, he acts his way out of that nose. But the scenes where, like, when she's getting the accolades for Candide and they cut to his big grinning face, all I'm looking at is that schnoz.
That schnozola.
That nose looks so stupid, you know. Yeah. So it's a failure on that part. So that puts it number 2. And then I got what else? Hold on, I have to write it down. I can't remember. That's how paltry it is. Oh, Showing Up. I in the end, it's I gotta say it registers because Michelle Williams for sure, and Hong Chau. They're both really, really good. And then finally, The Flash. I like the Flash, as I've mentioned on other podcasts. It's
on all my other podcasts.
Yeah, it's true.
Everything else.
2023.
Exactly.
I like, that movie stayed with me. I like, it did something.
Well, and Gino, in 10 years' time, you will be proven right. They'll say,
as I
always are. Okay. So, what should my winning lotto numbers be, Mr. Nostradamus?
If only I could predict that. If only I could pick stocks the way I pick movies. Anyway, and then I guess honorable mention is Sound of Freedom, just for existing as a real movie when I thought it was gonna be a turkey. So,
no, I agree. Yeah. I agree. And hey, why don't we talk about the elephant in the room, Killers of the Flower Moon?
Which I didn't
one word, 2 letters, P-U. I'm sorry.
Dan, you agree?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it was a total stinker, but it wasn't, I mean, it's like, just De Niro, DiCaprio, get them out.
They're both terrible.
They both are. It's like everybody else, like Lily Gladstone. It's just like, let's watch her way more. Exactly. Yeah. Jesse Plemons being Jesse Plemons.
You got it. He's barely in it.
But I was so relieved when he finally shows up. It's
Me too.
Oh, thank God.
It took Jesse 2.5 hours for him to show up. But thank God. I was like, oh, finally someone without a Southern accent who's doing his job. Yeah.
Doing his job. And the funny thing is he's from Texas, so he probably just settled right into that Texas, Oklahoma accent. Don't need to push it. Just be present.
Well, as I've said, and I'll say it again, having not seen the film, Leonardo DiCaprio was always the actor with the top hat and the fat suit, walking around the green room going, boy, this fat suit, it really is uncomfortable, but it helps my performance.
Helps
always
my performance.
Been that guy. Like, oh, this big top hat. I don't know about you, but I like a top hat in a movie. Like, he's always a show-off. Always.
And if I didn't know any better, this feels like the movie that Rick Dalton got when he got back from Italy.
No, for sure.
Because he's doing Rick Dalton again.
Absolutely.
With the stuttering.
The thing that sucks is, like, Scorsese has this whole, you can tell, I was watching this interview with him and he said, he's just not a plains guy. He's a New York guy. And God bless Jimmy Kimmel, who's like, oh, is that right? But you can just tell he had like zero connection to this land and to the people. And I'm sorry, I'm going to pull a Gino Caputi here. And I'm like, I knew he wasn't the guy for this job in the first place. He has zero connection to these people and to Oklahoma. I don't think that guy understands America half the time.
Yeah,
or any of the time.
He
got this great native cast and he entirely underused them.
He's so old and stuck in his ways. I mean, what do you expect?
I know.
I mean, I almost say give it...
Alex, did you read the book?
No, I did.
It's so good. It's worth read it tonight. It's the best.
Well, I'll find it if I'll go to my local library. I mean, this is a movie that should have been given to somebody like Taylor Sheridan, as much as I don't want to give him credit. But Taylor Sheridan gets that world in many ways. He would have, or at least, he didn't direct Hell and High Water, did he?
Yeah. Or no, he wrote it.
He wrote it. But see, that's...
River, didn't he?
Yeah, Wind River.
Yeah,
but he wrote that, but there you go.
Yeah.
The one thing I did like about this is, in respect to the Native Americans look like Native Americans.
Well, he really got
Lily,
people from the Osage tribe. He got Russell Means' son.
Russell Means, there you go.
And his son was so good. But again, they were overshadowed by this like pain in the ass. Robert De Niro, what the hell?
Yeah. It was Max Cady with that annoying Max Cady accent.
Don't forget, Max Cady's where he started swinging and missing.
Yeah.
No, it's a swing and a miss for sure. Well, especially because it's like one of the bigger movies of the year, along with all the other big movies of the year, which if that was my thesis statement, I'd be like, all the big movies of the year can suck it. Yeah. Looking at you, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, this is what they're pushing on us. I don't know, because they all hate, these same people seem to be the ones that hate something like Asteroid City.
Right.
Nobody hated it. They dismissed it. It's like Hail Caesar.
There are some that did put it on.
It's like Hail Caesar. Everybody dismissed Hail Caesar. Some did put it.
Some. Really good. I looked at some of the worst lists. Worst of. I don't know who, but a couple of lists. You're like Asteroid City. I think Owen Gleiberman, who I've never. I saw it on it.
Well, he would, but
of course he's always.
He
is. I've never argued. I won't argue with that.
New York Magazine, Atlantic all put it on their top 10 list, I think.
Okay. Well, good.
So
good.
It was in the mix, but I only saw one for showing up.
I saw it. That's how I even heard of it. I saw it on somebody's list.
I saw that.
Did you say Past Lives made the cut?
I liked it. Was okay in terms of. I thought it was well done. But I wouldn't, rush right out and have everybody see it. And again, that's why I guess I put Saltburn on the list, just because I was like, yeah, plenty of it's, unoriginal and potentially despicable, but I feel like she's throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks in a kind of interesting ketchup and mustard sort of painting way.
That's a good way
and at least to me, that's interesting. Sorry, I as opposed to a lot of things that weren't.
No, because some interesting things did stick to the movie.
That's fine. I liked the pacing. I liked everyone in it. I thought Jacob Elordi was actually really interesting.
He was good.
He was
good.
No, and I love the scene.
And Rosamund Pike was good, but they just all adding up to nothing. I didn't like Barry. Is it Keegan or Keogh? What's his name?
Kagan, I think, or Keegan.
Kagan?
I can't say it. When I hear him say it, I don't know what he's saying. So I have to admit
that's most Irish names.
I know. Unfortunately, it's true.
I'm to call you Barry K.
But he's no Matt Damon. I'm sorry. Matt Damon killed the Tom Ripley part, and I just found him. I found him acting in the film. I never bought him for a second that he was that character. I just didn't.
I liked him. Again, I always think though Matt Damon. Talented Mr. Ripley is Matt Damon's Mosquito Coast.
Yes.
He never
he did Jason Bourne right afterwards, so that was that.
Right.
Oh, that's
that was over. And he occasionally would show up as decently, like in True Grit, but that's almost like everyone else is so good he couldn't help but be good.
You got to be good.
Yeah, but I feel like that was his. He almost could have been this great actor because of Talented Mr. Ripley, and he was just the yellow frickin' fear. Couldn't do it.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't honestly think that the Bourne Identity ruined his career in terms. I just think he didn't.
And he's fine in Bourne Identity, and I like the Bourne Identity.
No, I
liked the first
one. He's good in them, but my point is, I don't think he got like Harrison Forded by it. I think he thought he was making important films. He just never did.
Well, let's not forget a movie that we haven't mentioned on this. Well, not on this list, but a movie that did come out this last year, Air.
Oh, wow.
Which is really one of those, and and it, like you got
Running Shoe, the movie.
Yeah, you got to be
McDonald's ad, the movie. Like what the hell? I'm sick of these like corporate bullshit movies. Like, I don't care about an ad agency.
Exactly.
How did this? Well, this is the story behind the shoe ad people who really came together with a really good pitch.
Really good idea.
I didn't see it.
Here's what I say to all you ad people: fuck off with your stupid ad movies. That's right.
I'm not arguing.
That's right.
But there, I mean, we go from talented Mr. Ripley to this. It's like, what are you doing in this movie,
Well,
Matt
that's what I have to
Damon?
say. I'm like, is he just, sorry, now I'm saying this, is he just not a smart guy? Does he think, I mean, that's,
Or is he
Hey,
just
maybe
enjoying?
what's his face? The Team America guys. What the hell's their name? Trey Stone
Trey
and Matt
Parker and
Parker. Yeah.
Matt
Matt
Damon.
Stone
Maybe
and
they're
Trey Parker?
maybe,
Matt
right,
Stone and Trey Parker.
right. Maybe they're right. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Maybe they're-
Wait, well, I don't,
Team America. You never
Team
seen it?
America.
never saw
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, classic, classic.
So the Matt Damon puppet is a total moron.
And that's all he says. He says his name
Every
throughout
time
the
he talks,
movie.
Matt
Matt
Damon.
Damon.
That's kind of a specific person to kick in the junk.
Yeah. No, they for some reason pick on him. I'm like, is he that dumb?
No, well, apparently, according to them, the reason why they did it was when the puppet came out, it was like, well, he looks like a total tard. So they
with Matt Damon.
just decided, well, why don't we do this? It was like spur of the moment, Matt
He
Damon.
never, but I've seen him in interviews. He never seems particularly stupid,
No,
No,
he seems
no.
fine. I watched him
Yeah.
on Hot. I will say this about Barry
Harvard-
Q.
Harvard
You're not
educated.
wrong, but I have to say I still enjoyed him trying. I can't even explain it. Saltburn is like this cat that I just let into my house that I'm just kind of like, it's weird and ugly, but I'm gonna let it stay. So
Let it stay for a
something,
while.
I'm
Yes.
gonna kick that cat with everything I got because I thought that was a mangy.
Well, that's...
Here's the thing: the British are getting really gross, needlessly.
Maybe.
Everything I see in English now, whether it's that Fleabag or what, it's just gross. Like
Oh, see,
the
I haven't-
English, they're just like have some restraint. Stiff up a lip, would you? It's like they're getting gross.
Come on, Gino, you're
They
getting
are.
awfully
I'm sorry.
ridiculous. What about, wait a
lot
second.
of
What
jerking
about
off.
Roxanne and Moll Flanders and things like this? Those novels were not, it's not like they were genteel. You have to stop. It's not like they always had this legacy.
I'm sorry. This is just getting it's getting
Okay,
too much.
but I hate when people insist that the British have not always
he's licking
been.
the bottom of a bathtub after a
I
guy
know what
jerks
he's
off in it.
doing.
Enough.
Enough is enough. I
I'm
get
like,
that.
I don't need to see this. I don't want to
No.
see it. And it didn't get me. Like, okay, yeah, Matt Damon did that whole thing way better. The same scene in a
He did.
bathtub, way better.
I get it.
And it's
I
just like
get it and I get
this just feels like the shitty Michael Bay version of a good this is The Rock compared to The Abyss. That's what this is to me. It just seems like okay, it's way over the top. I just thought it was kind of just despicable, and it's a ripoff.
Nobody's- I'm
It's
not
a
arguing,
huge
not
ripoff.
arguing
And,
with you
and
there.
again, it commits the Alan Rickman sin of, and lo, Alexander wept, for he had no more worlds to conquer.
Worlds to conquer.
Benefits of a classical education.
Yes,
It just shows off what it knows. I'm like, that's the worst. It's the worst. Americans do that, not British.
You're saying all
Oh,
these
yes, they
things and
do.
they're all true. And I still kind of like it.
Ugh, okay. Well,
So-
then you can't kick on me about The Flash.
Why wouldn't? First of all, I got no problems with the Flash.
I
I'm not
have
the person to
no-
like the Flash.
Dog in this fight because I haven't seen it yet, but it is available on Prime, so I will watch it.
Take
I
a look.
enjoyed watching it. I watched
I
it a
might-
couple
I
times.
might.
I
Good.
didn't love it at first, and I've grown to say, it's a respectable superhero movie with something on its mind. That's what I'll say. But we don't have to talk about that movie again, and we've talked about it plenty. So let's go into performances. I've asked it, but let's hit it hard, Roseanne Caputi.
Okay.
Michelle Williams or Carey Mulligan?
Well, okay, so let me just start off with I really like Carey Mulligan's performance because very few people get that era and that social class right in movies. I feel like it's, people try a lot with, your Babe Paleys and things like this, and they just don't get it. And she got it effortlessly and she sounded perfect. And yet she was alive in it. I know I said that the reviewer said she gave a brittle performance, and I think that's so inaccurate. I think that scene when they're on stage and she's saying, "You're a dragon," and all these things. I'm like, what a
Great scene.
lovely, gorgeous little scene where she's doing good work and she's making that happen, and it doesn't look like she is.
No, she's
Um,
she's a
It's
powerhouse.
just such a so to me, she's one of the best actresses working today. Bar
Okay,
none.
Michelle
But
Williams.
I'm leading up.
Michelle Williams. Michelle
Ultimately, it's
Williams
Michelle.
complaining about that water heater.
Ultimately, it's Michelle Williams. I cannot get over her performance. Talk about physical performance. It's amazing. Alex, I really wish you had seen this movie.
There's still a chance. There's
Just
still
her-
hope. There's still hope.
It's a
Only
delicious
if
little
you two
performance.
see Candy Cane Lane and make it up to
No
me.
deal,
Make it up to
pal.
me. It's free. It's on Prime.
So it's showing up free.
It's showing up on Prime?
Yeah, that's how I watched it.
Oh.
So
Wait,
free.
oh no, showing up. Oh, really?
I watched it on Paramount Plus. Is how I watched it.
I was going to go that route.
No, I watched it on Paramount Plus because I got that streaming deal. That's right.
Okay.
It was 99 cents or whatever. Anyway, her performance, also just her. I keep thinking about Andre Benjamin talking about. God, why can't I think of her name?
I don't know. Hong Chow? Who?
Hung Chow, God.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking Greta Lee, sorry, from Past Lives. But anyway, Hung Chow, sorry to be racist. Hung Chow and Howard, I'm kidding.
We're not.
Howard Art's awesome, whatever. And just Michelle Williams can't let it go, not even then. She's like, yeah, well, it would still be better if she fixed my hot water. Like everywhere she goes, she just drags that hot water.
Now, let me ask you, did she have to go any place emotionally complex as she didn't have to hit anything as emotionally psychotic or complex as Carey Mulligan did?
So she didn't, but that's why I think her performance is ultimately better, because she stays so closed off through the whole film. And I do think Carey Mulligan has sort of, I complained about the cancer stuff because while Carey Mulligan did it like an absolute pro with, not melodramatically at all, she still had these like things to work with that were more expansive and kind of more showpieces, where Michelle Williams did not. She just had to sit there, listen to Andre Benjamin be like, I kind of like it burnt, with just her face of complete and utter like disappointment. And
let's give it up for Andre Benjamin, who
absolutely
played a dork. He played a dork. Like God, he did a convincing community college art school dork.
Yep, you got it. And he was perfect, like 100% perfect.
Yeah. No, they were all good.
So I just have to say, I think Michelle Williams honestly is the winner, just because she stays in this like focused, close off place where it would be potentially tempting for her to get out of it, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, how much do you think it has to do with the director as well? Because this is what, their third or fourth collaboration?
Movie,
fourth. You know, and I was talking earlier today about what is it, Wendy and Lucy? I think the first picture they did, which is a delightful little movie shot in Portland. And I was telling Gina about
I never saw it. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that you watch and it pulls you in because it's not trying. It's one of those movies that's just there.
Well,
and you see people,
That's your thing, apparently.
Yeah,
no,
you got to see Meek's cut off just because Bruce Greenwood, she just gets the best out of him in a performance you'd never expect.
Kelly Reichardt is like, who's the director of Winterbone?
Deborah Granick.
Thank you. Because they just the way they seem to get their subjects. They're not giving us parodies. They're not giving us the stereotypes. They're giving us, if you didn't know any better, you'd think, what is she, like the old neo-realist Italian style, get the people that look the part.
Yeah.
So Deborah Granick, and I would say the Celine Song, I wrote all them down, and Kelly Reichardt, and Celine Song did Past Lives. I think they are making films I want to see. They're making these quiet movies with people who don't seem too actory.
No, exactly.
And they're just, they're not huge stories. They're small stories in people's lives that make an impact. And I just think, I want to watch those movies. And maybe it was because I was in that mode of watching those movies, especially Past Lives, obviously, and Showing Up, that maybe I wasn't in the mood for Maestro as much.
Yeah, no, I think you would like Wendy and Lucy. I mean, it's really,
I've been wanting to see it. I just haven't.
You care for the dog. You care for the relationship.
Yeah.
and the
Well, what
Bond.
else has she done? I mean, I can look it up, but it's like I just have to say I've only have Meeks cut off as a reference,
See, I have to
and
see that, so I haven't seen
and
So
that
I
yet. But
just
I,
read
that
that
had
she
the
did this. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna
I
say that had the same sort of deliberate pace, so you have to stay with it. If you're sleepy, forget it. You
yeah.
know, and I same with showing up. I fell asleep. It just sort of lulled me to sleep with its shots of pottery and sketches, and I just fell asleep. But that's what I do now at this age.
Okay.
Even hell, even that stupid Rebel Moon, I fell asleep. Nothing's keeping
Yeah,
me.
but for the right reason. That was more of a fight or flight response.
I think I can, but I can
lyrical.
enjoy them even when I'm watching. Oh shoot! What am I saying? It's right there. This is how forgetful I'm getting. So right above showing up for the number 3 spot is Godzilla -1.
Oh,
Sorry,
see, but I haven't seen it.
that's a really good movie, and it deserves praise. So yeah,
Oh, you just chased Roseanne off. She.
Yeah.
Now.
Goes. Actually, I'm putting Godzilla -1 right above Maestro because it doesn't
Okay.
have
Well,
any.
we
Doesn't have
haven't
any
had a chance to
prosthetics.
see it yet. Yeah, that's
Nice.
good. Godzilla
Yeah.
doesn't have a prosthetic nose.
Yeah, he doesn't have a prosthetic. The
He ain't
prosthetic
fooling
nose on
anybody.
Godzilla works.
He's the full Godzilla.
Yeah, so
I'd rather see the
Godzilla
guy
-1 is number 2 after Asteroid City.
Okay.
So
Well, I
then-
hear now. Is it true that is like the biggest grossing movie in Japanese cinema history?
It should. It's the best Godzilla
I mean,
movie.
apparently, it's
aside
just.
from number 1, which of course has has A, novelty, and B, just import as an historical importance.
But this is about something, though. I mean, this
Yeah.
really does put it in context, like the
Yeah,
birth of.
it's as skilled a movie as I've ever seen come out of Toho and the Japanese.
And why the Americans
Godzilla.
shouldn't do kaiju movies.
Absolutely.
No,
There
really,
is-
I'm not.
Here's my
yeah.
warning. Okay, here are my 2 swear words. These sort of exclamatory sentences I'm going to yell at America. F off or with what did I say earlier? Oh, with marketing
With
movies.
bad movies, yeah.
Shut up
Marketing
with
movies.
marketing movies and stay the fuck away from Godzilla because
Exactly.
it's like
Amen. Testify, brother.
It's like British
Testify.
and Japanese and Godzilla is like English and Shakespeare. And America, stay away. You can't do it. You suck at it, so just stay the fuck away from it. Same with Godzilla. Like, you guys don't get it. You don't feel it in your bones. All
No.
your King Kong versus Godzilla, that idiotic Gareth Edwards Godzilla movie where you're going, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? The Matthew Broderick Godzilla,
Oh,
they're all
boy.
just freaking terrible because you don't feel what Godzilla is. And Godzilla is post-nuclear Japan.
Yeah,
That's what it
exactly.
is. And this movie gets it in spades. You feel like you're watching a live-action anime, and you are. There's all this, baka! All this stuff. They're screaming, they're yelling. It's high melodrama, but it's great. It's just the best Godzilla stuff ever. There's a shot that's I loved it. Godzilla shoots fire so it's the head in the foreground, and he blasts a nuclear, a blast of his breath, nuclear fire breath, and it zooms off into the distance and creates an enormous mushroom cloud. That was just like, that is awesome.
Okay.
And it's like, wow, I've never seen that, and that's
There you go.
The weight of what Godzilla would do to the society was really evident. Like, they've studied 9/11, they've studied just mass destruction.
So
in a way.
there's consequences. I mean, they
There's
really do deal with
consequences.
it.
There's just this feeling of just everybody's getting killed.
Yeah.
And it just feels awful. And it was good. It was a good movie. And it
Okay.
had the same, if you've seen Shin Godzilla, which was sort of social commentary on Japan's bureaucratic sort of lethargy, and then sort of at the end taking shape and becoming like, Japan, come together and defeat Godzilla. We can do this if we just put our heads together. This time it was the same idea, but it was about cowardice and Japan's sort of World War II mistakes coming together, and like, the problem is the government. So we as a people's alliance need to come together and defeat Godzilla. It was good. I enjoyed.
So it's about something. I mean, it really is
had
about,
a real theme. Again, it's two different aspects of Japan coming together and defeating this problem. I loved it. Yeah,
I should see them.
Yeah.
Really fast. And then we should talk about performances. Not that I don't care about Godzilla, but I haven't seen it, so I'm sorry. Really fast, I do want to add Scarlett Johansson to the pile of great performances.
Oh yeah, I meant to
the movies that I loved this year. If we're talking about actresses first, which we seem to be, just because I went that direction. Anyway, so back to you.
No,
guys
I
about
meant I honestly thought about that. So of the three, who wins? I still am going to give it to Michelle Williams, just only because comically she did both. She played a poignant, loving sister who was also a complete angry wet blanket, and she was unafraid to be ugly, in a funny, like she was both funny and ugly at the same time, and that's not Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson was smoking hot, and she didn't do that. So I'm like,
right. And Carey Mulligan got to be a martyr. Yeah. And so I think Michelle Williams was the one taking like real chances, honestly.
Well, there's no ego. Like you can see she's helping the director, like, okay, this is the character. I'm not gonna play like superstar and demand that I have my hair coiffed in the right way. She had the worst, most atrocious bowl cut an actress could ever have. And it's funny the whole time I'm going, what is with that hair? I can't believe she's sticking to there's no scene where she combs her hair.
How funny.
Yeah, no, she was great.
Okay.
All right, well, actors. All right, so let's go across.
Well, hold on. Alex, what did you think actresses wise? Alex?
Well, because I can't talk about Michelle Williams because I haven't seen the movie.
Right, but from what you
well, I guess between Carey Mulligan. I mean, Carey Mulligan
versus Scarlett Johansson?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And I'm going to give it to Carey Mulligan for two reasons. That and her brief but effective performance in Saltburn. I mean, she was just so... And what is it? I think
she was in and out. I don't even... That was like almost a useless cameo, I thought.
I thought she was funny and
But
great.
She stood out for me. I mean, it was... she had an impact on me because you could see how cruel they were to her. Not so much to her face, but when she...
I just thought it was a little over the top.
I don't think.
Except
I don't
to
agree.
me, sorry, she reminded me of Morgan's mom. Rosamund Pike reminded me of a really rich Carol Grossell in that way, the way she was talking to people.
The way she was.
I just thought it wasn't subtle, the way she was like, oh, no, you should leave. Like that. It all seemed like sitcom stuff. That's just sitcom stuff. I'm sorry. It didn't have any subtlety to it.
No, well, I
don't think they needed to be subtle.
I don't think they had to be.
You really are excusing this film, especially after Kelly Reichardt's, after her subtlety, and
I'm giving it to Kelly Reichardt all over the place. But again, I
don't
only have to like subtle things.
Okay,
I agree.
I
agree, and it's not like we're trying.
Godzilla was the second best film of the year.
It has its heart on its sleeve. Has its heart on its sleeve.
Okay, and I like.
Saltburn does not have its heart on its sleeve.
No, Saltburn takes aim at rich people and doesn't let go, and I am in.
It takes more aim at middle class people,
which I also like. I like both. Both deserve.
As a man who's lower middle class, I take offense to that.
I don't know. I still because I think one of the for me a saving grace in Saltburn. Maybe you're going to disagree with me, but I'm going to say it is the great scene where the handsome actor, say his name for me again,
Jacob Elordi.
Elordi.
Yeah.
When he's got a surprise for Barry Keoghan's character, he's going to take him to see his mom. Like, what? And just that whole awkward scene. Jacob Elordi's face. Oh, I had no idea.
You two are lame.
Yes, we are.
It was Sitcom City. He kept overhearing things he would never overhear. He kept that, so he grabbed that sneaky Barry Keoghan's phone and found out where it's all bullshit. It's just like, this is all contrived.
Come on now.
Totally TV show contrived. I didn't buy it for a second. Like, what? He found his phone. He doesn't seem that.
I may not have bought it, but I felt it. I felt the awkwardness still because again, I didn't feel like it again, the sum of its parts, which was the idea of reaching and the idea of being awkward. For some reason, it still
But
worked.
he set the character up as such an oblivious buffoon that how would he ever even think to do that?
You're right, but still,
You know,
still thought the scene was effective.
I did.
I
Credit
still
to the actor who played Farley. I liked Farley.
Yeah, that was good.
He was good, but the Sienna Miller lookalike who played the sister
Yeah.
was pretty good too.
Oh, the sister.
Yeah.
Look, I am not trying to elevate the movie any higher than it is right now, Gino.
Right.
And the only reason it's on the list is because I didn't see a whole lot this year. But of movies that did have something, even if it had, some scenes or some performances that were like a good kick to the pants, that was one. I mean, at least it had something,
Okay, so sorry.
I mean, do you want me to put Air on the list? I will. I swear to God, I will.
For that rousing
Alex,
prophetic
besides, we were
speech from Matt
talking
Damon.
about
Someday
Mulligan.
someday your dad's gonna die. He's gonna get shot at the side of the road, and you're really
Yeah.
gonna dig deep. And someday,
We were talking. Alex was talking about Carey Mulligan and why she was so effective. That's where this even started.
Thank you. But I do, it is the year now. I may change my mind or I may reconsider after seeing Showing Up, but certainly it's not going to dethrone Carey Mulligan. She is certainly at the top of the heap right now.
well,
And
again, it's
Meryl
Meryl
and it was
Streep, Carey Mulligan, and Michelle Williams are the three best actresses in Hollywood.
Meryl Streep. I wouldn't put her up there right now.
Well,
And I will say,
she's had her innings.
She's had her innings. I will reconsider Rosamund Pike because of her performance in Saltburn.
Yeah, she was good.
Unfortunately, she's got Gone Girl and all these sort of cartoonish bad girls.
So let her get over this.
Yeah.
This was refreshing to see. Because what
I
was that
agree.
movie
She's not-
she
I
did
don't
on?
think she's top of
What
the
was
heap.
that? What was the
I
Netflix
don't
movie
think
she
Rosamund
did?
Pike is top of the heap.
Well, I'm
I
I
saying
think
she's
she's
up
in
there.
there. I like her.
No way.
I really like Rosamund Pike though as an actress. In fact, I saw Gone Girl because of Rosamund Pike. I have to say
Terrible
that.
in it. She's terrible in it.
She is. That film is terrible. That book is trash. Everything about it is garbage. But I like her. So I'm trying to think. I don't know.
I don't think she's all. I don't think she's
not
an
great in
all-star.
it.
I don't think she's an all-star.
Okay, so actresses
I
I
wouldn't say
think
an
are great.
all-star.
I have
I
to
think
say
she's
Carey
fine.
Mulligan, Naomi Watts, and Michelle Williams.
Who else would be up there? Boy, this is a tough.
Any people of
who
color?
else? Who
Since
else?
you're being very
I'm
exclusively white.
thinking. I know. I have to. Can I say this? I think Hong
Octavia
Chow is
Spencer?
someone I love to watch.
Is Octavia Spencer a all-star, a fastball throwing all-star? Is Tara P. What's her face?
Garage.
No.
Yeah.
Is that,
They're- these
I
are,
think they.
yeah. How about Viola Davis? Is she an all-star?
Could have been. I think.
I think she's a great actress. When she talk about Venom, what the shit? I mean, and I get it. I get how much it probably sucks, but I just think Suicide Squad and all these things that she's way better than. If we were just going on things like Doubt and Out of Sight and things like that, I'd say, well, yeah,
No.
is.
What she shows, what she shows in.
But those are
Out of
still,
Sight.
Those are still supporting roles. Has
They
she
are,
Ever,
they
has she
are.
ever blown it?
I
When's she
don't
ever
think
done
so.
it in a leading role?
Well, the unfortunate thing is she makes these choices that I hate.
I
And
agree.
I think she is a very good actress. So again, when she's in Fences,
Fences.
I don't like Fences.
No, Fences wasn't good.
I don't like Fences.
Yeah,
I-
wasn't
I-
good.
I think she's somebody that has there is a performance out there waiting.
I think so too.
There is that chance that she'll do something that'll be like, holy cow.
Well, you
That
know
is
who I love?
That's one
is,
for the ages.
oh God, and of course I can't talk about Creed is
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa
Tessa
Thompson.
Thompson.
Tessa Mae Thompson I love.
Okay.
I think she's a great actress.
But again,
I know.
She's Don Cheadle. She did the Marvel movie. She
I
lost her power.
know. And I want more Deborah Granick, Kelly Reichardt stuff.
Well, but there is a place for establishment, big budget filmmakers. And
That's
Bradley
fine.
Cooper,
That's true.
I have to
No, I
say,
agree.
over any
agree.
biopic I've seen in the last 10, 12, 20 years, this was probably the best. Yes, I hate biopics, but I had to say, well, this wasn't an irritating, there was no magical Negro going, Leonard, you're going to have to decide between a man or a woman. There was no stupid summing up.
I get it. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm just saying I'm not in the mood for any of it, kind of. I was in the mood for the smaller movies this year, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's face it, Asteroid City has every established star in it, you know?
True.
I mean, Steve Carell, who's more like irritating establishment than Tom Hanks.
Right.
And it's still great. So
But again,
I'm for it. I'm just irritated with Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese.
I agree. And I feel that, a point that you make earlier is Bradley Cooper could head in that direction, but he could potentially head in a much better direction.
Sure.
I mean, what he showed
was a really well done film.
Yeah, what he showed in Maestro is like, wow, that is a masterful stroke. Again,
well, I think he's such a horse's ass with that nose that he's probably going to head in the Steven Spielberg direction.
That's what I'm afraid of. But let's hope not. Because that opening, the first 10 minutes alone, it's like, okay, I loved it. I mean, I love, there was definitely, he definitely did his homework. I mean, I thought immediately of some of the great shots in Citizen Kane. Mm-hmm. That established that movie. It's like, here is a young filmmaker, although he's not youngish compared to...
Certainly with the shadows and them on the stage and, everything like that.
And speaking of Orson Welles, he had great use of them talking over each other.
Yeah.
And I thought that was...
Well, that's kind of an Altman thing too, though, isn't it?
Well,
Just sort of
certainly
that,
was one of the first, certainly Citizen Kane.
Wells, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, let's face it, he had a great cast. I hand it to him that he didn't have an Oppenheimer cast of irritating ass cameo. Everyone was seamlessly in there, and
I mean, if he could make me at least appreciate Sarah Silverman, he did something, because I can't stand that woman.
Yeah,
at one point in my life, I think I told Gino that I would fight Sarah Silverman in an alley if I could.
I'd pay to see that.
Anyway, but she was great.
But again, okay, and going back to, how when a character is introduced in a movie, like good introductions. I always think about one of the greatest introductions early on was John Wayne's Ringo in Stagecoach, when the camera just closes in on him. Carey Mulligan's entrance when she gets off the bus and walks right into the light, that makes careers right there for everybody. And the music.
And it seemed like a 40s movie.
That was genius.
This is
genius.
Where the skill level and Bradley Cooper, I was completely impressed, because I said this to Roseanne, it doesn't matter, but I was saying usually like in the Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, and even the Elton John movie, I just didn't think about the music. I thought this is the first use of music of the person that you're telling the biopic about, and the musical biopic, where the music really feels like organic and integral to the movie itself, not just kids, remember this hit?
This hit?
No, it just feels like, okay, this is a guy who appreciates the music and is using it to augment the movie in a really clever way. Like,
and the other thing too is
it may be on the nose, but it was still a good use of. He didn't like we're gonna have a rumble tonight.
Yeah, no.
He just used that sort of incidental Broadway fight scene, but not the main part of it. You're
going with like the deep cuts. You're not going with the obvious. No, but whatever that was.
Yeah.
Speaking of Orson Welles, what'd you say, Roseanne?
Nothing. I liked the On the Town stuff.
Yeah. All of it. I just thought that use of the mask, which I had to go out and look at and look at iTunes and just listen to it, because I thought I've never even heard this, and I consider myself not a huge Leonard Bernstein fan, but a big enough fan of his work that I thought I knew most of his music. I mean,
Okay, I gotta say
he
this.
doesn't have a lot of music.
I do find the genre limiting, and I do find, it did bump up against those limitations.
But it seems like, wouldn't you say when he's doing the mass?
Genius in a film.
I know.
This
That's
really
why
is.
it's fundamentally, because
Okay,
again, you would
look
have
at
to
Oppenheimer.
take chances. I know, but you would have to take chances, and no one's going to do that, especially when people's relatives are still, children are still alive, and all of us still love the
What
music.
was he going to do? Was he going to do the Jodie Foster routine of seeing the notes in everybody's eyes, or or are you going to do the Oppenheimer? Are we just staring into space, hearing the music? There's no. I'm fine with Bradley Cooper only doing it sort of on a reactionary level.
That's
like he's reacting to the audience, and I thought, those two scenes where he comes in and he conduct the guest conducting scene, which I didn't know a thing about. So I was really impressed with that, and I was really impressed with the Khabib scene,
break,
where he's just sort of glowing, basking in the glow of what people think of him. I thought that was enough. I got the sense of genius much more than Bohemian Rhapsody.
But when he does the mass,
Bohemian Rhapsody is a shit job.
Bohemian Rhapsody,
but
like,
it's a standard. It's a standard biopic. That Bohemian Rhapsody literally was by the numbers. It might as well walk the line.
Okay,
right?
But it's reprehensible.
But it's no different than any of them, except for your beloved coal miner's daughter.
Thank you.
But in terms of musical biopics,
that was
it's
different.
One of the bunch.
It is.
That was different. No, coal miner's daughter still stands up. I think.
I totally agree.
All these movies are nominated for Oscars. Bohemian Rhapsody, Walk the Line. I don't know if Rocket Man was, but they all follow a pattern, and they're all tedious.
Okay,
I'm not arguing there.
You're talking Bradley Cooper for Academy Award. Do you think Bradley Cooper is one of the best performances of the year? Let me ask you that.
But I think he should get Best Director.
He should.
Okay. So what are the best male performances of the year? Because I think they're not plentiful.
You know what?
Ezra Miller in The Flash.
Okay. Are we talking lead or are we talking any performance?
We're talking lead. We talked about Carey.
Look him up. Hold on.
If we talked about Carey Mulligan and Michelle Williams, and we have to talk about male leads.
The good leads. The male leads.
Yeah.
I say Jason Schwartzman by a country mile.
Okay. And I got to say, surprised that I really enjoyed Edward Norton for a change.
Oh, yeah. And again, I love him. Also, let's add Adam Driver and Ferrari.
Mamma mia! That's a faster car! I'm sorry. People are going off on that, but I agree. I'm with Gino. It's like, I don't know.
But short of Asteroid City, honestly, and Bradley Cooper's performance, which is fine, but not anything great. Like, what else is there for? What are guys doing?
You know what? Bradley Cooper's performance, it's formidable, it's solid, but it reminds me a lot of like Omar Sharif in Dr. Zhivago, where he's really there to support all the other great performances around him. But
I love Omar Sharif and Dr. Zhivago, but
I love him too. But it's Rod Steiger, it's Tom Courtenay, it's Julie Christie, who how can you not love her? But again, watching the scene in the apartment during the Macy's Day Parade, you got to give credit to Bradley Cooper because he really lets Carey Mulligan shine.
Yeah, Carey Mulligan.
He's given her something. She's driving it, but he is letting her. You see it. I mean, that to me is a professional actor, where he is doing what he's supposed to do without overdoing it. He doesn't overdo it.
No, I definitely agree.
He did it again. He's my choice for best director. I mean, Wes Anderson should get nominated. He probably won't. I'm sure it'll be Christopher Nolan.
Can I say two actors I think are interesting, and I'm sorry that I'm saying this wrong. I thought the lead, Teo Yu in Past Lives, was really good. Like romantic and woebegone and actually really great. Okay. So I'm going to say him and Jason Schwartzman. Also that actor, John Magaro, who was in he's in Showing Up, and he's also in Past Lives. He's the one.
Yeah, I was telling. Yeah, John Magaro. Yeah, he was. So he was in
That's
the
guy you were talking about.
He was in the George Foreman movie, and he was not good.
Right.
And
Okay.
so again, he probably just said, "Hey, I love George Foreman. I'll do this film, and
Sure.
I'll wear your crappy costumes in your crappy biopic." But
Now I
Okay,
did
but he was great in
he
notice.
did
showing up,
great
I
work in
thought.
showing up. Yeah, real
I
subtle, great work. All
All
right,
right.
so best director. Oh wait, I didn't say best actor, did I? Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't feel Jason Schwartzman as the best performance of the year. I thought he did a great job in a movie that was more of an ensemble piece.
It definitely was, but
Well,
let me
it
just say, I
was.
thought it was his best performance ever. And
Still not better than Rushmore.
okay,
It's
fine.
just not better than
Well,
Rushmore.
okay,
But in
Rushmore's
terms
okay.
of,
still
I feel
like
like he's a man. I feel like he's turned into a different sort of performer and an
okay.
actor. And I
But
like.
then watching the I'm an alternate scenes the other day, I'm like, yeah,
Oh
that
boy.
really is a dynamo performance. He
I
hasn't topped it.
okay. I certainly agree, but I think I don't know. I really liked his heartache in this movie,
Yeah,
which
it's a subtle
so
performance. He does a
it's a
great
subtle
job.
performance.
It's the best
Yeah.
movie we've seen, or all three of us agree. Tom Hanks outshone Jason Schwartzman in my mind.
I disagree. I think you're just surprised that he was so good and funny. I think Jason Schwartzman still gave a lasting
You know
performance.
why I like the scene when the girls bury the daughter? I liked his sort of heartfelt sweetness to his granddaughters.
I
thought
liked
that
it
was
too.
stronger than Jason Schwartzman.
But Jason Schwartzman's just sort of like sadness and disengagement from his daughters, I found equally, if not more compelling.
Well, it's a
Which
matter
is,
of
I think,
style.
where he
It
shines.
is.
Jason Schwartzman. He shines that kind of character.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But he yeah, Rushmore is still his like H.I. McDonough. It's hard to top.
Yeah, it's hard to top. It's
You know.
always the early performance,
Yeah.
and then hard to top from there. Where do you go from there? Damn it.
Okay, so best director Bradley Cooper on my end. I'm saying best director Bradley Cooper for just the revelatory direction that he showed us all that he's got the chops to someday be a great director.
I would actually like it to be Wes Anderson for once. Everyone is sick of him, and doesn't think he deserves these things, and he rarely ever gets accolades. And I think it's because he's like too good, and people just decide he's pretentious. I think that's not fair. Profiteroles. Anyway.
Okay.
No, I'm going to go with the Bradley Cooper because that was my thought too. It was revelatory. It was something that we haven't seen. I mean, look,
but Wes Anderson has been good for
he has.
more than 20 years.
Yes, he has.
Okay,
but what
Roseanne,
we saw in Asteroid City is what he's good at.
It's
and
like
it was.
When the
And
Matrix burst on the scene versus Star Wars, right? Or Phantom Menace. It's like we've seen that shit before, but the Matrix was brand new. It just seems Wes Anderson. I'm not saying it's tired. I'm just saying that he already burst on the scene with your Rushmore and all the times he's been great. So it's not that he was bad.
We're talking about Academy Awards or who was actually the best director of this year, and it's him. And again, what the Academy will do is when he finally just has a movie where it's only underage girls, then they'll give him an Academy Award.
Whoa. I'm not sure I like where
Let's
you're
hope
going,
not.
young
Let's
lady.
hope not.
I'm just saying, in terms of films where he won't deserve it and he's completely lost his touch.
Well, it'll
be one of the better films of his career, which he just did, and he will not be acknowledged for.
Yeah, if he ever makes his equivalent of like The Departed or the color of money or something.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they throw him that bone. You're just like, they should have thrown. Yeah, that should have been years ago.
And they hilariously do that to, like every film Quentin Tarantino has ever done. I really want it to be. I think Wes Anderson did the best job, and if it's not him, it's Kelly Reichardt, and no one will care about her directing at all.
Which is too bad. Which again is too bad
because
you've
is so subtle. It's just subtle. It doesn't feel like I said it. It's almost the art house equivalent of Sound of Freedom. It almost doesn't quite attain full like big extravaganza status. It just seems.
Well, maybe that's just her genius.
It's so small. It feels like a documentary.
But okay.
It's good. It's a style, but
yeah.
Honestly, I do look at my show. I think like an Academy voter. I just do.
There is a difference.
This is the sweater I wear to the Academy voting booth.
Oh, that I'm certain.
So I just think,
Oh,
I think in terms
boy.
of, well, the most impact, and it, like, yeah, I'm with you. I loved Asteroid City. It was my favorite film,
No.
but in terms of being surprised, I wasn't surprised.
I don't understand this. I don't understand how surprised is somehow the criteria for best.
I wouldn't say it's.
That's
It
nonsense.
Well,
made
no.
because it made an impression on me. Like, wow, he's really good at this.
And he is
That's all.
talking about Academy of Voters. So I get where he's coming from, and I think it will go to Bradley Cooper. It's going to go to Bradley Cooper.
But I just think when someone makes a really good black cashmere sweater year after year, that person deserves rewards.
He
and
does.
awards.
He does, but we're not going to see it until what, 10 years from now or whatever. Like, and which is too bad. But again, is Wes Anderson an Academy type person, or is he just? He's Wes Anderson. He's Wes Anderson. He can exist outside that that world, that universe, just like Kelly Reichardt or Granick or these other wonderful directors.
Right.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to wrap it up. So,
all right.
Best director, Roseanne?
Angelina?
Yeah, Angelina, best director.
I said it.
Scooby-Doo!
She said it.
I said it. John
Wes
Hammond.
Anderson.
I said Wes Anderson or Kelly Reichardt.
Okay.
Alex, what'd you say?
I'm going to say Bradley Cooper.
Okay,
Cooper
I'm
is
gonna
the
go Bradley Cooper. All right, final question. Hopes for 2024. Alex Robertson.
The Iron Claw! The Iron Claw!
The Iron Claw, right.
Because as I said, and I'm going to say it now because I'm going on record, I'm saying that Zac Efron is everything that Hollywood wants us to think about Ryan Reynolds. But it will never happen because Ryan Reynolds will always be Ryan Reynolds. It's really just his personality and nothing more, where Zac Efron is charming, good-looking, but I think also a formidable actor. And I think he's coming into his own, and I really hope this is a movie that starts to push him in that direction, and I hope he never loses that momentum. I think it's there. And so that, and of course we got to wait until Christmas, but Nosferatu. We have to wait till Christmas to see that.
What about Dune 2?
Well, I got to see the first Dune. I haven't, I haven't finished it,
so
no. But that's a good point because I do like the Devanue. Is that am I saying his name right? Villeneuve. He's got a.
I don't like him much, but I think he's perfectly suited for Dune.
I don't. He doesn't so much have a style as he's good at copying other styles, or he makes it interesting.
He's a good director who knows. He has a style, and it's way better than Zack Snyder, but it's in that ballpark.
Yeah.
He has a very commercial, big budget style.
I'm looking at you, Blade Runner, for sure.
Well, Blade Runner is beautiful.
He's not great.
But it just doesn't have the impact of the original. But
yeah.
But it looked good. Looks good.
Yeah.
But
Roseanne
I don't know
Caputi,
what else is coming out.
Hopes for 2024? It doesn't matter. Just the films you want to see.
Furiosa.
All right. Yeah.
Now, when is
More
that
than
coming
Dune?
out? When is that coming out?
No, not more than Dune. But Dune, I feel like Dune was supposed to happen this year, so I feel like I've been looking forward to it for a long time. It was supposed to be November or whatever.
Well, what about the Fall Guy? I like that's being released in February, which is always not a great sign.
What is it?
Ryan Gosling playing
Ryan Gosling,
the Fall Guy. Emily Blunt.
With
Emily Blunt.
I keep forgetting that.
From the directors of Bullet Train.
Woo, boy, that doesn't sit well with me. I'm sorry.
I can't wait to not be on that podcast.
Don't worry. I don't think we'll be there.
Bert and Dave will be there right with me.
Come on,
anyway, so honestly, so far, Dune, of course, but like I said, I feel like I've already been looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to, I think Furiosa's the one.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be good necessarily, but I'm looking forward to her. Yeah.
And maybe this will be her big,
I hope so.
She's on the A team.
I hope so.
Well,
what about you, Gino?
I'm pinning all my hopes on Dune.
Okay.
Part 2. I'm hoping that that's what saves the year.
Here's how
Okay.
We all want
And
that.
no, I'm not quite done with final. Worst film of the year, Alex Robertson.
Oh boy, I got to go back in my list here. Well, Air, no doubt, Air. Like what
Really?
the, pff, you know?
Again, that's like, to me, they don't register. These corporate marketing films don't register as films. They're
Well,
in the
I
same
don't care.
category as Christian
I'm putting it up there
fundamentalist
because
films.
they took 2 hours of my life away from me.
They don't register. They're ads. They're weird ads.
Yes, they are, and it's but when I consider the talent involved, it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
they keep doing it, right? Tetris,
I don't
the
know
movie.
why.
They're all
Yeah.
yeah.
And Tetris, which I did see, and again, and an actor that I do like.
Yeah. Roseanne, worst film of the year.
Worst movie of the year has got to be. Let's see. The one I guess that started off like my legendary anti-Marvel grumpiness would be Doctor Strange and the
Was that
Ministry
this year?
of Madness.
Was that
That
this,
was this year.
this year?
Wasn't
Was
it?
that this year?
Or it was
Was
like
that last year?
I
is
haven't
that
seen
this?
it.
Okay, so then it's Thor: Love and Thunder. All of those.
No, those are last year, kiddo.
Wow.
2022.
I've never
really?
seen any
I
of them.
think
I've
Ant-Man
never
is.
seen-
You're thinking Ant-Man this
Ant-Man.
year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's this
Ant-Man
year.
for sure.
Whatever you
Every-
saw with. Yeah.
I feel like
Whatever you
every
had to
movie
take
I
a
saw in
picture.
the theater was such a piece of shit.
Probably
Yeah.
agree with you there.
I'm gonna go with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
That's the worst movie of the year.
Yes, I saw it again, and I just thought, what a stupid ad for other Spider-Man movies. That's all it is. It's just a big fat ad for other movies.
Okay.
And it's an ad for, it's a big, like, oh, canon events. Like, what the hell are they talking about? This
No,
movie
it's
doesn't
so dumb.
stand on its own as a story. It's just crap. So that's my I the first time I saw it, I thought it was fine. Oh, the animation's good. The second time I thought, no, this can't cut it. There's not one thing about this movie that's related to its own story. It's not a self-contained story. It's all contingent on knowing everything about everything you've ever seen about Spider-Man, which I think is
So in other words, it's
stupid.
like making pop culture references to rebels.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
It sounds like, yeah.
Definitely. Do you feel like it's worse than Rebel Moon?
No, Rebel Moon's just a B movie. But we're talking about, here's a movie that got all this praise, and it's like Oppenheimer I don't like, but whatever. It's a biopic, it's crap, it's boring. But it's not being
I don't think it's the
praised for-
worst.
Yeah, it's not being praised for something that it isn't, which is revolutionary and groundbreaking. It's just a big fat commercial for Spider-Man movies, you know, and Spider-Man comic books, and it's like there's nothing happening in this film. It's all nonsense.
Right.
It's nonsense from start to finish, and it's all loud and noisy, and I just hate it. Second time around, I'm like, God, I hate this film.
Then being inspired by what you're saying, if I'm being entirely honest, then the worst movie I saw this year was Barbie.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's up there.
Yeah, in terms of like films that I saw that were purporting to be one thing and were absolutely another. And also in terms of crushing disappointments from Greta Gerwig,
From
who
Greta
directed,
Gerwig,
a
yeah.
film I love, Little Women, and then to just fail so utterly and completely about something that I also care about, i.e. feminism and fashion. And I just thought it was just a miserable failure.
Could this be the turning point in her career? When we talk about
I really
like,
hope. I hope.
Doing Narnia? She's doing Narnia next? Is this true?
apparently, or she wrote it. I think she wrote the. She at
Okay,
least
then
I think
maybe
wrote
I
the screenplay.
The thing that I don't like is that it was such a huge success.
Yeah.
So if it had been a failure, then hopefully, she could turn it around. And I could trust, based on what she did with Little Women, I would trust her potentially with Narnia.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question I have. Speaking of movies, two movies that they really pushed on us, the whole Barbenheimer. Barbie and Oppenheimer, which opens, the same weekend.
Right.
And we're being told relentlessly, see these movies. These are the big movies. Can we say that's like the Sound of Freedom effect? because Sound of Freedom came out right before that, and the little movie that just sort of could, and the little movie that sat on the shelf for 5 years, and then suddenly it's getting an interest. And the way they were attacking that movie, you know, the relentless, you know, it's like just another one of those right-wing conspiracy, QAnon, blah, blah, blah. And you watch the movie, it's like, well, it's none of that. I mean, it is an important subject. It could have been better, but it wasn't bad.
No.
And it made money, and it almost as if, you know, to make us forget. It's just like, let's make us forget. So what do we got coming on, you know, down the pike? We've got Barbie and we've got Oppenheimer. I mean,
well, I think all they wanted to is let's make us forget that movies are shitty, so people go see these, and they.
No, I think I don't believe in any. I mean, obviously, there was a conspiracy to clamp down on Sound of Freedom. I mean, it's obvious the way they report on the box office, and any other
all the ridiculous.
Any other movie would have been hailed as like, this is big box office for the little movie that could. But they were really going out of their way to punch and make it, not even punch on it, to make it seem like it didn't happen.
Well, I
think because the box office has been so dismal, and the Marvel movies have been so crappy, that they just created all this hype around Barbie. And let's face it, girls needed a movie to see, and so they had this kind of Titanic effect of, girls haven't been getting any attention in the marketplace. And here was a prime opportunity for them to see a movie.
But why couldn't they do that with Little Women?
It doesn't matter. Well,
you know, why couldn't they?
Little Women's a tough sell.
Yeah,
it is a tough sell, but it is a book, but so masterfully done.
It's not fair. It's not. You know,
I suppose not, but
it's not Toys the movie. You know, which is
I get it.
They got so much behind it in terms of we have $1 billion, $2 billion to sell toys with it.
But even the most
Joe March movies.
I suppose I can see that point, but the idea of, hey, you know, anyone who's cynical about a movie like this, give it a chance. You will be surprised.
Yeah,
you know, and to see a movie,
a well-written, well-acted movie. Good luck. Yeah. You know, I mean,
I know, but still.
Again, you look at. Hey, Rebel Moon is the #1 movie on Netflix.
Oh, there you okay. Well, that's right.
No. I gotta watch it. I did it too. I clicked on it. Oh, let's see what this is like. And you know, I mean, look, it's not. We're not the country for it. We just like big dumb action movies. That's our thing. And I like them. They're just not good anymore.
I know. I'm not saying I don't. I still want to see a good action movie, but yeah.
But they're just not there. It's nobody's coming up with anything interesting. It's all
there's no imagination.
Like, you know, you're looking at Zack Snyder. Like, he's going, I'm gonna break away from Star Wars. So what's he do? He makes a Star Wars movie. Like, this is just a crappy Star Wars ripoff. Like, that's what they're all doing. It's all either superheroes, spies, or space adventures that are like Star Wars. And that's the sad state of the affairs. Nobody's coming up with anything interesting. Like, we can't get past Die Hard and Star Wars. You know?
That just bummed me out.
And on that note, thank you. Have a great 2024.
24, yes. All right. Happy New
Year.
Happy New Year. It's all down the hill from here.
Welcome to hell.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Fabulous Film and Friends. Copyright 2023, a Beller Films production.